Austria 2.0 is on the agenda today, and I say 2.0 because we are at the regular version of the Red Bull Ring. Yesterday, we raced at the reverse version, which was my first ever time chasing cars around there, racing cars around there, and it was absolutely insane. So guys, if you want to check out the previous episode before we jump into some big spoilers, then go check it out, guys. As always, link in the top right. Now, with that out of the way, spoiler warning, we're going to talk about today's episode, in which we begin with some updates on engineering, on-track telemetry, and the aero breakthrough have arrived. So we're going to do some more facility improvements. Now for this one, there's only one that I want to do, and it's going to be the powertrain breakthrough. Again, we're trying to unlock more upgrades. We did it for the chassis, we've done it for the aero, and now we're doing it for the powertrain. We're also going to do dual development efficiencies, which basically is going to make dual developments much cheaper, 5%, which is actually quite a bit when you consider the total cost of those upgrades. Now we go ahead and research the control electronics. That's going to be hopefully in a few rounds time for the British Grand Prix, and then with that we jump into developments. We've received the tertiary wing flaps for front downfalls and the brake calipers. We're going to move into activities. We have no upgrades that we can develop right now because it's a short turnaround from the last race to this one, essentially from the Styrian Grand Prix to the Austrian Grand Prix. We did a little fan rating activity, which is all we can fit on the agenda, and just like that, we are back at Austria. We are back at the Red Bull Ring, ready for another race weekend. This one though will be as Nico Hülkenberg, and we'll see how we get on. The pace around the reverse version was really good. We should have got P4 in the race as Colapinto, and we didn't quite deliver. The forecast is dry. In terms of performance, we are currently buried in the midfield battle, and you can see we are just behind Aston Martin and Alpine, but ahead of Williams as things stand, which hopefully we can try and just move above and become the 5th best team on paper. Now, one thing I forgot to do before was some component management. So I believe Colapinto will have some slightly more warm parts this weekend, but we're going to change Hülkenberg's ICE, and we're also going to freshen up the energy store, which is a 57% worn. Also, turbocharger, we're going to bring that to a fresh unit as well. And I think that's going to be it for the engine upgrades or changes for Hülkenberg's car this weekend. You can see we're flying right now, especially with Hülkenberg. Now, a quick reminder, in the last 2 race weekends that we've driven as Hülkenberg, we've got podium finishes. So could we go for the hat trick? Again, in the reverse episode last time out, we was potentially battling for P4 with Colapinto, and we qualified really well as well. So you never know, we might have that pace carry over now in the normal traditional direction. Now we jump to practice, we've put on our car setup, and we're now doing the program, starting out with track acclimatization. We then moved into fuel management, which also both of these went purple, so lovely little purple score. Also note the track, we've got the blue curbs on the edges. We had green last time to kind of differentiate between the 2 rounds. As we begin our race simulations, we have to overtake Ocon into turn 1 at the beginning of our second lap, which we just about managed to achieve, and we eventually finished up the programs with a purple score. No dramas, good consistent race simulation data, and everything will hopefully correlate for the main event. Either way, job done for us. And in terms of that data, you can see tyre wear is actually very high. 1.33% is pretty aggressive. The fuel burn, though, interestingly, compared to the reverse version, is a kilo less. It was 45.5 last time out. This one's 44.5. So interesting how same track but different direction can correlate to different data. Now, interestingly, both cars in the top 6. Colapinto finishes just behind, and that's with those slightly more worn components. So I definitely feel like in the last 5 rounds we've really turned a corner and we've started to improve. We picked up maximum R&D points in that practice session, and things are looking good. So could this be a strong weekend, and could Colapinto AI potentially get his first points?
Hello everyone, welcome to Austria. It is a short track, it is high speed, it is exactly what we enjoy for qualifying.
Now, into qualifying we go. Soft tyres on the car, and we are purple in the middle sector, so the pace is looking pretty strong in principle. Making our way into the last couple of corners here, looking to close out the first lap of qualifying. I'm not too sure what the lap times are going to be, but we invalidate this and next lap as we did set a 1 minute 2.2. If you remember last episode, Verstappen did a 1 minute flat, I think a 1 minute 00.8 in Q1. So the pace seems more or less the same. We do finish a lap and we go for a 102.1 and we actually go P3. So interestingly, that's quite a decent time, and we've got a pretty good margin. We're only 0.3 off Russell in P1. Colapinto, on the other hand, is fighting for survival. He's P16 right now and battling with Behrman to not get eliminated. So we're going to, retire from the session, and we are going to make it through with our original time. But the big question is, what does our teammate do? P15, Colapinto does make it into Q2, and I will say the pace seems a little bit slower than the reverse version of Austria, because Max was in the 1 minutes already. That wasn't quite the case here, and nearly a second slower. Into Q2 then, we're going to put on a fresh set of tyres, and we're going to look to improve and go again. Now we have that 1 minute 02.1 benchmark from Q1 as a reference time as we begin our lap. Really good turn 1, up towards turn 3. We brake just after the 100-meter ball down to third gear. A little bit of an overcorrection, and we also have some wheel spin, so the back end not exactly behaving through the hairpin as we race down towards turn 4. Brake at the shadow just before the Pirelli board. Fourth gear, clip the inside curb to rotate the car, and that exit curb is also safe to traction on as we use a bit more battery. Now into turn 6. Try and use every bit of the curb on the way out to open up turn 7. Stay tight through here, but avoid the inside curb, which can spin the car. And now just keep it tight, minimize distance as we race towards turn 9 and turn 10. For turn 9, throw it in, lots of inside curb, and then turn 10, same again, lots of inside curb, use all the bit on the exit, DRS to the line, and it's going to be a 101.7, so we do go 0.4 quicker, and P2 than in Q1, and that was more than enough to move us comfortably into Q3. Colapinto misses out in 13th place, but to be fair, only by a couple of tenths, so a pretty competitive performance from Franco, and to be fair, the gaps are fairly tight from the Ferraris down to Colapinto. So yeah, job done for us. Pace seems very strong, so let's confirm that in Q3 and let's see what our first banker lap is going to be. Now we nailed turn 1 in Q2. We've done it again, really nice run there, opening up the entry, bumping over the entry curb, and then just really attacking the apex, getting a nice exit as well. Up towards turn 3, we actually accidentally double downshift to second gear, but we keep the car stable and get a very tidy exit. So I feel like there's a little bit of time to be found there, but that was a really nice run. Down towards turn 4, again, brake just before the shadow, fourth gear, use the curb inside and out, bring the car over to the right, and then you want to turn a little bit early for this one because there's a lot of understeer because it's downhill, so you want to try and get the nose into the corner. We just clip the inside of the curb there through turn 7, which isn't ideal. 8 is flat, and we're purple in sector 2 as we now throw it into turn 9. This is really aggressive, right on the white line stuff. Final corner also right on the limit, DRS to the line, and we're going to set a 1 minute 01.4, and we go provisionally P2. That's 0.3 quicker than our Q2 lap, and right now we're in the mix. Could we be fighting for a legitimate pole position? Verstappen has had a very low-key qualifying 3 so far, so I expect him to appear, but if he doesn't, or if he messes up his lap, I think we could potentially fight for pole here. So let's get to it and let's send it around the Red Bull ring. Well, I'll tell you something, that is a brilliant lap. Second place, again, Verstappen just delivers. He doesn't miss. 1 minute flat 0.8. In the end, the pace, I'd say, was a little bit slower than the reverse Austria version because, Verstappen did that pace in Q1 in Austria reverse, but what a lap from us. 101.2. Excellent performance. Front row yet again. And it seems to be the pace is legit. Could we fight for a podium again? Could it be 3 on the bounce? If so, this might be the new normal. The only thing is it keeps happening when we're driving as Hulkenberg and we don't seem to get this sort of performance driving as Colapinto. Either way, excellent qualifying, but now let's convert this in the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or the other has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. 7 rights and just 3 left-handers make up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is flat out, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Nico Hulkenberg completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Tsunoda, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Piastri, Russell, Lawson and Lance Stroll, Ocon, Antonelli, Franco Colapinto and Gasly, Albon, Behrman, Jack Doohan and Isaac Hadjar, Bortoletto, Crawford, Pepe Marti and Paul Aaron completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Shakes. Alongside me, a real authority on all things motor racing. It's a warm welcome back to Anthony Davidson. It feels like an obvious question, but I think everyone wants to know, at this stage, are you nervous or excited?
Probably at the start of a race, it's where your heart rate's at its highest in anticipation, and you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to be thinking there inside the car, what can go right? How can I be opportunistic rather than what can go wrong, and how do I protect my position? Look forward and stay positive. It's easy to say, very hard to do when you're in that position.
Now here we go, time for the main event. P2 front row start on the regular Austria circuit. Now, I'm gutted for Colapinto because whenever we seem to race as Franco, we can't seem to get these results. But at the minute, we are fresh off the back of 2 podiums racing as Hulkenberg. And today, we could make it a 3rd, which is bonkers, insanity. Anyway, front row start. Verstappen again looks super quick and likely unbeatable. But for us today, very simple. It looks like a 2-stop. Now, that sort of backfired in the reverse race. So that might change into a 1-stop depending on how the first stint goes and also what the AI do for strategy. For the fuel, we've ran our race calculations. It was 44.5 kg in the race simulations in practice, so that's exactly what we're going to run in the race. So yeah, not a cloud in the sky, sunny skies throughout. Let's get to it and let's try and get another big result. Right then, everybody on the same tyre strat as we are currently ghosting everyone out of position. We're going to go ahead and just line up in our grid box, trying to keep some tyre temperature if possible. But let's get to it. I'm looking forward to this one. I think we could have a very good day in the office if we deliver our true pace. So let's get to it and let's see how the Austrian Grand Prix goes. Right, perfect grid lineup. Now we get ready for the start. We're off. It's a good launch. We're not quite going to get down the inside of Verstappen at turn 1. He just manages to pull ahead. But we take the racing line. Clean run through turn 1. Norris closing in behind. We've got Tsunoda, Leclerc battling. Well, let's see if our pace is legit. If we can try and hang in and do something here. Good run through the hairpin, but you can see the acceleration there from Verstappen as he pulls away. They're losing time behind. Leclerc and Tsunoda really going at it here, so a chance for Verstappen, myself, and Norris to try and break away. The dirty air, though, kicks in straight away through there. You can really notice that. If I could stick in Verstappen's DRS, that would be lovely, but I fear he's going to already escape. It's going to be hard to keep up with the 5-time world champion. I feel like I'm getting dirty air way back here, but we have managed to stay within a second just about.
Okay, DRS is now available.
That's good, it will help us defend also from Lando. So let's try and stick with it here and try and hang on for as long as possible. I think that's Max gone. Just pulls away so much through those two left-handers, and that is us now out of the ice range. So Norris will be looking to go through. I don't have a ton of battery either, so I won't make it too difficult for Lando. Hopefully he gets me out of turn 1, that'll be perfect. And we'll try and sit behind the McLaren and just hopefully keep running this pace. They're really battling behind, like really heavily here. So we've got a great opportunity to keep extending this gap, which is now over 4 seconds. That's insane. Let's keep at it. This will help our race massively. Now Norris is a bit easier to follow. We are still just about hanging in there. We're really opening up a huge gap now. We do just drift out of bounds there for track limits, but we are opening up a really big gap to P4 below. So we're basically locking in this podium unless a safety car comes around and tries to ruin our fun. So at the minute this is going as well as you could possibly hope for. Whenever I get close though, the dirty air just completely...
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
It completely just upsets the balance of the car, so 8 to 9 tenths seems to be the happy range, but I can't risk dropping that far, so I've just got to try and deal with, you know, being close sometimes. But yeah, that battle behind is absolutely bonkers. Now Hamilton's getting involved as well, so long may it continue. This is making our race easy. Might lose DRS here. Lando is just pushing me out of range. I'm not going to have it for the pit straight. Hoping I can get it for the DRS zone to turn 1. Good last couple of corners. We should stay in just about for now. Rear's overheating. That would explain part of the pace struggle. I'll put the bias up and see how that works. Try and put it on the fronts a bit more. Oh, Russell out again. That Mercedes is just completely broken. It's so unreliable. I swear that's like 3 in the last 5 races or 3 in the last 4. That's insane. I'm really hanging on now though. Gap is hovering at a second. I'm also out of battery, so just trying to hang on to this DRS for as long as possible really. But we do have over 10 seconds to the cars behind, so we've built that gap. Driving well, using Verstappen and Norris, and now we have to manage for the rest of the race. Ooh, big wobble there for Lando for the first time. Finally a little sign of weakness. I think we've been officially dropped now. So now we start to manage our own race and hopefully manage this podium. I'm going to get on battery saving duties and just try and see if I can potentially make a 1-stop. We have 52% on the left rear. We're going to learn our lessons from the reverse round and try and hopefully stretch it to a 1, so box around lap 16 if possible, or 15. Now that was our scheduled pit lap, but my tyre icon has just come on. But we're going to commit to going long here. No one seems to be pitting. I'll say that actually, Tsunoda does pit. Either way, we're going to stick to the plan. We're going to try and make this 1 stop. Interestingly, it seems in that pit phase, split strategies. Tsunoda, Piastri pit, Verstappen and Norris do not. So it seems like Max and Lando on a 1-stopper, but Yuki and Oscar on a 2. But nobody else pits. So I think this is fine. It's the right call. 70%. If I can get to the end of lap 15, that would be perfect. We can then make it to the end. If I can get to 16, that'd be great, but I think that's impossible. So We'll just try and get it to the next lap. Oh, bit of a mistake. Just nicked the left front on the curb. That's not ideal, but we are boxing this lap.
Take care, our data's indicating high levels of tyre wear at this stage.
Yeah, just got to bring it to the pits. Interestingly, the Ferraris aren't really catching, so we're the same pace, which is great. So just have to keep managing this race now, really. Got no grip though on the left side tyres, but we've made it. The one stop now should be possible to the finish. Easy does it on pit entry. There we go, a little bit crossed up. Really locking on 55 bias, but we can now dump these tyres, get some hards, and go to the finish. Nice and easy. I'll keep the bias on 55 because it will keep it more balanced in terms of wear and temp. Here we go. Oh, it's a slow stop. We haven't had one of these for a while. 4.9, that's a painful one. We've got a big traffic section of cars.
You only have to stop once now. One stop left.
Big gaggle making its way into turn one, but we're going to be just out ahead of that. Crucially, Tsunoda leads the way. Colapinto just behind. Colapinto on the one stop, so we'll see how he gets on. But Yuki is two stopping, but we should have better tyres than him now. He's been on those for a little while. Let's try and get Stroll and Lawson, although I think they should all be in this lap. Right, let's see. Yep, Stroll pits. We're going to have to be careful here. Well, it's as close as it can get. Through the penultimate corner, we get a second warning. Had more grip than I expected. Everyone's in.
Franco's in the pits. Franco is in the pits. I'm afraid you've been given a time penalty for that last incident, mate.
I've got so much grip. Like, I'm just turning in. I'm expecting, or I'm used to what I had before. And, you know, there was no response on the front end, especially through the right-handers, because the left side was shattered to bits. But now we're getting that response with the fresh tyres. Anyway, we've got a time pen, so we're going to have to sort that out. I'm annoyed that I got that so quickly within two corners. That's really frustrating, but, you know, lack of tyre data. Right, let's push on then. We've still got this. It's still in our hands. We had a huge gap of, 12 seconds to the Ferrari. Tsunoda is two stopping, so it's in our hands. We just have to manage and keep it nice and tidy all the way to the finish. There should be more cars pitting on this lap, so some cars are dragging their mediums quite deep into that first stint. So there will be a tyre offset to account for. But there, we should move back into P3 now. There we go. So we just managed the second stint. Just keep managing. We're pulling away from Tsunoda, so that's good. Oh, got the DRS there for free. Thank you very much to, I believe, the Williams leaving the pit lane for that assist. Verstappen's doing his thing in a different universe. We've got a yellow flag here just up ahead. Either a DNF or a spinner.
Yellow flag.
Looks like a spin for Marty.
Okay, clear.
But no more dangers, no more threats. A safety car would ruin our race. So we do not want a safety car, because that would, with our pen, mean it would be game over, pretty much. Now the question is this V-carb going to get out of the way? So the one leaving the pits that gave us DRS was Paul Aaron. And now Hajar, I'm trying to decide what he's going to do, but there we go. Thank you very much. Accidental double downshift there, but we're through. Blue flag for Mr. Bortoletto. Let's see how he navigates the blue flag and how he gets out of the way. Getting dirty air from this distance now, so this isn't great. Make your mind up, son. Make your mind up. Okay, thank you. You can see him kind of veering and switching lanes and kind of, snapping all over the place because he can't make his mind up. But luckily we get away with that one. Gap to Leclerc 12.6, not going anywhere. We've got this under control. Tsunoda's in, just noticed, so he's going for a second stop. So that will give us our real-time position. So the gap to Leclerc, he's our nearest rival, 13 seconds, and seems to be climbing. Hamilton,
tyre condition still looking good.
Even further back, so we've got this under control now. This is looking good. A third of the race to go. We should get DRS off this back marker. Jack Crawford. There it is. Thank you very much. I'm going to try and switch to the outside. That's more like it. Better line for the next corner. Blue flag on Behrman, no DRS. We'll do a carbon copy of the Crawford move. We're actually catching Norris here, by the way, which is insane. What a difference. Now that our tyres are not overheating on the rear, we're actually quicker in the warm rubber phase of the stint. And we're quicker than Norris. We've pulled out a huge gap over Leclerc, and now Hamilton has been passed by Tsunoda. Just got to manage a little bit of fuel now at the closing stage, and tyres should be good to go. Well, Verstappen's already won. Absolutely insane. We're going to bring home a third consecutive podium when driving as Nico Hülkenberg, which that in itself is insane. Just managing my fuel and tyres now. Been cruising for the last couple of laps, really. Leclerc, Tsunoda have caught up a little bit. We've lost some ground to Lando, but it's not really relevant. What a strategy. One stop working out. The data from the reverse race applied to the standard, and it worked beautifully. And we are going to bring home another podium, which is going to be huge because Mercedes are not getting a lot of points. There we go.
Yes, and that's a podium. Excellent drive. The whole team have worked especially hard this weekend, and that, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
Good effort, good strategy execution. I think that was the most we could do with what we have.
A sensational drive once again. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
And the top three venturing onto the podium to begin the celebrations. Well, we've seen this one before. Max Verstappen on the top step once again.
Well, there we go. Absolutely beautiful. Simply lovely. Beautiful result. Another podium. Number 3 of the season. I just want to try and get these results with Franco when I'm using him on those race weekends. Anyway, Verstappen absolutely dominates. He crushes all of us. Laps up to 8th place included. Insane. Absolutely insane. He lapped Piastri as well. So just, he's marching, stomping onto a 6th World Drivers' Championship. Speaking of which, Colapinto P13, no points for him today. The gap to Ocon is now 5 points. It's slowly closing. For Hülkenberg though, 69 points. Very nice. And 10 points behind 10 points behind Antonelli. 13 points behind Oscar Piastri. So suddenly, there's something up for grabs now, other than just P9 in the Drivers' Championship. And P7 now has to be the objective. Verstappen in cruise control up front has over 3 race wins in his back pocket. In the Constructors, 5th place for us. We are within 100 points again of Mercedes-Benz. And yeah, we just have to try and hopefully deliver with Franco. We can get them podiums with him, or, you know, top 5s. We should have had a P4 in the reverse round. Instead it was P8. If we can just maximise those results, then potentially we could start to close in and threaten Mercedes and McLaren for their P3, P4 spots respectively. But yeah, guys, cheers for watching. Smash the like button for that podium finish. Let's try and hit over 1,000 likes again. Subscribe for more daily F1 25 and F1 related content in general. As always, guys, on screen you're going to be seeing the fallout from this one, which should be a decent gain, and we might just go to level 5 fan rating after that podium. We'll see what happens. Either way, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, a massive shout out to my channel members. Check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in my next one very soon. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me. Ciao.